Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my new podcast series. In this series, I will be doing interviews with the National Rebirth Party, a newly registered party with its chairman, its leader, Ali Kirby. But I will be introducing to and speaking with the branch leaders that he has registered with us so far. So, of course, guys, if you're unaware, it's newly registered. It's under Ali Kirby. If you want to go and visit the website, please do at www.nationalrebirthparty.org.uk. You can also contact Alec or various branch leaders through the email at inquiries@nationalrebirthparty.org.uk. We're also on Telegram, t.me/National Rebirth Party. I think we're on Facebook and Twitter and all that malarkey. Right, let's go and introduce. This is episode 1, so congratulations for getting episode 1. Darren Houghton, I hope I said that right. Please introduce yourself. We're going to go through a little bit of your story and where you're at now from where you began. So over to you, a little brief introduction. And you are the branch leader for in the northeast. I think it's for Easington. Is that correct?
Hi, Chris. Yeah, it's at Easington Colliery to be specific. Yeah, and it's Houghton.
Did I say Houghton?
You almost you kind of it's the silent GH in my surname. It always throws people. It throws everybody. Even if I'm on a telephone, it doesn't matter. It's always that silent GH. It's got that hidden GH in there.
Houghton.
Well, Southerners will say Houghton. Well, I say that Houghton. But Northerners, it's a northern name actually, will say Houghton.
Horton.
Yeah, Houghton.
Well, whatever we want to call you. You are the branch leader, and so you're the branch leader up north. But obviously, you don't have a northern accent. So, what's the story behind that?
Well, the story behind that is I've been up here for just over a year now. I moved up from North London, so I was in North London most of my adult life.
Yeah.
And before that, I was actually in Kent. So I've moved around a bit. My family history of moving around the country, basically down to my armed forces background, my father. But I've been up here over a year, and I don't think I'm going to lose this accent now. I don't think I'm going to adopt
You're not sounding like
the Easington lingo. I don't think I'm going to adopt the local lingo somehow. Not anytime soon, but I'm fitting right in now.
Okay, so we'll go back to the beginning. Obviously, we'll get to where you are now. North London. How was your upbringing in North London?
My upbringing?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I spent most of my adult life, so I wasn't being brought up in North London.
Okay.
But that was Kent, so we'll just go out of London and go down further into the southeast for that.
Yeah. So how was your upbringing in Kent?
It was good. Plenty of friends. Went to good schools. Not grammar or anything like that. Comprehensive, sort of working class schools, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
That most of us have been to. Yeah, I lived with just me and my mother. My father wasn't around at the time. It's mostly me and her. But I had good friends. I was sociable. I enjoyed life as a junior and a teenager. Kent was a good place. But before that, actually, I was in Hereford before that. But I was there as knee high.
It's not too far from actually my neck of the woods, is it? Birmingham, not too far.
No. It's classed as, well, it's Hereford and Worcester, isn't it?
Yeah.
The county. But yeah, I was there before that, before Kent. But Kent was my late junior years into my teen years, and then I went to London.
Okay, yeah. What happened? How did you go to London? Like, what was the reason behind that?
The reason behind that was, well, basically that was my mother moving anyway into London from Kent. Just a fresh start really from Kent. That's all that was.
Was that with your family or on your own?
Sorry, say that again, mate.
Was that with your family or was that?
Oh no, with family, because I wasn't old enough to be on my own even still then.
Okay, so yeah, London taught me through the days of London. Obviously, it is renowned now as the lost capital. So, how did you find that period in London yourself?
Interesting. Well, how can we look at this? I mean, London's it's like a moated castle, really, isn't it? It's kind of different to surrounding areas of the country. It's just totally different. It's more, well, as we know, multicultural. Life completely changes. I remember when I left Kent to go there, it's as if England changed. But I soon adapted, so to speak. But I always recognise the differences. London's obviously good for things to do. It's good for social life, things like that. It's also great if you've got a lot of money. But if you're ever struggling at any time, then it's just like anywhere else, no different. But I mean, I enjoy parts of it, parts of living there. It can be a lonely place though. There's no community anymore, especially if you're a white Englishman. That doesn't seem to be the thing in London anymore. There's a lot of secular activity. Everybody keeps themselves to themselves. You're alone in London, even if you're surrounded by a lot of people, really. And you meet who you meet, you work. So basically, London's really a work and play place, I would say. But actually, to live there, you know, in a community, to feel at home there. No, it's not good for that. I don't think.
No, obviously not. Did you ever encounter any much problems, any danger, like in your period in London?
Yeah, I came across it on a few occasions. I'm not one to go looking for it, but yeah, I did now and again. Yeah, there were some moments. Nothing major.
Oh yeah.
But there were some moments. Yeah.
What can you give me an example?
Well, I would say if you spend some time in some of the more Asian or black communities, well, we'll call them communities, even though I was referring to communities earlier. Sometimes you know you're a white man. I had some altercations, can we say, now and again. Some differences between my beliefs and their beliefs. Sometimes it could get tense. There was times when, you know, I knew, hey, this is it. You know, it's.
But did you get like knives pulled out your ear or anything like that?
No, I've never had anything like that. Just physical pushing around and things like that. Some threatening behaviour.
Did they provoke you? I take it for being white English.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes. I mean, I was on a night out once. I remember I was in Tooting, in southwest London, and I was accosted by a group of black men. Basically wanted to fight, simply because I was chatting to a woman outside a place, white woman.
Yeah,
and we were getting on. We were getting on, and for absolutely no provocational reason whatsoever, I could start feeling the heat around me. So the little incidences like that, you know, of course, nobody gets to know this outside of the place. And then other situations with Asians, maybe when they're going about the street in their little gangs and just being loud, and you question that, and you get the chat, and you get the confrontations and things like that. And this is even in the daytime. I had some of that going on too. Sort of calling people out for any poor behaviour. Because I mean, I've always been a guy that would, if I don't like this, what I see, I mention it. And you can see that within some of the communities.
Of course, yeah.
And you're going through, you know.
Yeah. So like, I mean, so your road path to nationalism, would you say it's because of moments like that you went through that led you down to this path, or was there any specific, what was the spark? There must have been a spark where you thought, you know what, I've got to start doing something for the indigenous people of our island.
I wouldn't say that. Obviously, I noticed that. I knew there was an issue with that.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I said, it didn't always happen. You know, other times I was amongst different people, should we say, different skin colours, cultures, etc. down there, and there was nothing going on. It was just at certain times, certain places, very random. It wasn't so much that, it was, I think, I mean, it was within the past few years, it was the whole anti-white narrative that started to begin around the whole George Floyd incident over in America. Was a real catalyst for me.
Oh, so that was only a few years ago. So have you really only been involved in nationalism around that period then? Or?
Yeah, actually involved. Yeah, actually involved. Yeah.
Just before we go back onto that, what was you doing like beforehand? Was you just not quite blasé about it, not really getting involved, and just going about your daily business?
Yeah, it was. It was always in the back of my mind that things were wrong.
Yeah.
It was always there. But it didn't drive me towards, even though I had some incidences, it didn't drive me towards nationalism because I don't know really. I think because they were sort of minor incidents. I don't know really. But when the whole anti-white narrative started coming out, the turn of 2020, whatever it was, that really started pushing me then, because I correlated that with some incidences that I had previous to that, and then that's when I started thinking, well, you know, there has been some issues underlying.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to back you up on that. To an essence, obviously, I'm from Birmingham. Well, I'm not going to go in for everything, obviously, because this is about you. But that's kind of how I started. I mean, from Birmingham, you're having kind of these experiences, and then like you didn't really see anyone speaking out against it. I think it's tough speaking out against it as well because of what will happen, and that's when I found, like, obviously Tommy Robinson was a very vocalist. You know, I'm not going to go into mocking him. This is not about him or whatever. Everyone knows my opinions on that subject, sort of thing. So I'm not going to make it about that. And we don't need to make it about. But that's where I started off. That's kind of my journey of getting more involved in the public, just seeing, you know what, he's spot on with a lot of things he's saying. Like, why aren't more people speaking out? And that's when I started, you know, speaking out. Then I obviously seen other problems, spoke out my way. So, you know, I think sometimes it does take a big public uproar for you to start saying, well, this has also happened to me. Like, thank you for even the media, the anti-white media, for highlighting this. Is, hang on a minute, like, you're making out white people are all the bad people, but I've lived through this, and it's quite the opposite, actually. Is that fair?
Yeah. There's always something that sparks it off. I actually think that it's dormant in you. See, for instance, when I was in Kent and places before, it was majority white. Now, I'm not saying that I've never had any issues with people of my own race. Of course I have. Yeah. So, of course, when I went into London and I had those issues, I couldn't correlate. Was that racial or was that just person? Do you know what I mean? And I think if at the time I'd have correlated that with maybe it's more racial, that'd have probably been a springboard earlier.
Yeah.
Because as I said earlier on, I wasn't I thought the way London was with black communities and this community, and it was all split up and like sort of colonies in different places, and I thought this is weird. Because when I was in Kent, it was more homogenous. Everything of that was totally homogenous. And even as a boy, I always thought to myself, I always had that natural feeling that if somebody came into our country, they were from another country, that they respect our country, and that they at least try and integrate if they're going to be here, you know. And whenever I saw somebody from other backgrounds in our country and they were disrespecting us in some way or being rude, whether with comments, whether with attitude, anything like that, it doesn't matter even if you overheard it or anything like that. Even as a boy, I just think, well, you're not meant to be here doing that. This is our country. This is our home, you know. And when I went into London, and I was getting that because it's so ingrained there, because it's so multicultural there, you can't ascertain the difference like you can outside of London, because everything is just so set. There's so many and there's so much, you know.
Yeah.
But I did feel like I wasn't in my own country when I first went there, and I first realised that. But I just got on with life. You know, I wanted to experience London for what it was meant to be. I mean, I always preferred central London anyway. The rest of it didn't really bother me. So.
Okay, so then the George Floyd incident happened. You know, we won't go into that. Everyone knows about that. It was put in our faces for many months. So it doesn't need to be revisited. But yeah, talk me through that experience. Talk to me about your story behind that. And, like, this is the moment. Like, I'm going to actually start getting more involved.
Well, because when it happened, it was also around the time of the lockdowns, wasn't it? The whole
around that time. Actually, literally.
And things started to get a bit odd. Just everything started getting a bit odd, and I didn't fall for COVID. I didn't bother any of that. But there was the BLM protests in London, wasn't there?
Yeah, I was literally going to bring this up, so I'm glad you brought it up. Go on.
Yeah, I was in London at the time, and they was in Central, so I was in Zone 2 anyway, so I wasn't that far from Zone 1 in Central. And I went onto alternative websites such as BitChute, Odyssey Rumble, sometimes YouTube, and saw the videos of what people were saying about white people, about white companies, and some of the celebrities were there, and they were speaking out, don't buy from white companies, don't buy from. Suddenly this anti-white narrative going on over this incident, and then I saw it was the BLM stuff in America that really started driving me, because I was keeping my eye on that, and the so-called protests, what those people were doing, and I know whites were involved too, but what they were doing, I couldn't believe what they were doing. They were burning things down. They were killing people. They were attacking people. They were killing people.
Yeah.
I saw footage where I thought, this isn't a protest. This is terrorism. This is terrorism.
Like, just to go to the protest there from, you know, I don't remember everything, but I remember I remember calling it to that. I remember calling it, please don't go to this protest. This is such a setup, like the one in London that you referred to. And I remember seeing the footage of that, and the police it was such a setup. The police, I can't remember. For the argument of this conversation, we'll say 1,000 English lads, and then they would get kettled, then it would be broken up into smaller groups, and eventually there'd be that smaller groups that the other communities, and there was white people involved, but I like to call them self-hating whites, the ones that want to bend over backwards for other communities, you know, sort of traitors to our people. And eventually it was carnage, and a lot of our own, as warned, would happen, like by many of us, not just myself. They had a good beating too. They got, you know, and then the media the day after would, oh, look how dangerous the far right white people are. And then there was one which was clearly like an act where there's this, made out the white guy was such a racist fuck. He got levered, beaten the crap out of. But then there's a picture, like he's a hero, this massive black lad carrying him on his shoulders out of the war zone. Like, look, this guy saved his life. Like, and who can blame? And it's the narrative. It's like, who can blame them for attacking him when he's been such a racist fuck? But this black guy stood in the way, got him out of the war zone. Many people would suggest that he shouldn't, but this is how nice they really are. It's, I think that probably
the whole victim narrative was being played out, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, it was being played out, and if you've got any ounce of intelligence and common sense, you pick up on it and you can see it happening right in front of your eyes, and folds right in front of your eyes, and you wake up, you notice. And what you're saying there, Chris, is exactly what I'm saying. I saw that incident. I saw that whole setup, because I think they was going down to defend the statues and all the rest of it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And and you're looking at that. I mean, there was so much footage available anyway. You couldn't not see any of it, because there was so many patriots going down with their own cameras and releasing channels on YouTube and other sites, and they were showing what people were doing and what was happening. So you got to see the angles. You got to see all the angles that the mainstream media wasn't presenting. Wasn't even showing anybody, wasn't it? It was just showing its own edited version of events. So, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at that, looking at what's happening in America, and then all of a sudden, all this anti-white narrative everywhere. It's as if ended up in this big bubble, and it was white people, bad. All of a sudden, all over the TV, all of a sudden, all over the news, all over different programs, and it was just coming in everywhere, every angle. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute, what's going on here? And then I was going into other media sites, and I was seeing like violence towards white people. It's open season all of a sudden on white people, and innocent white people, teenagers, women, just being attacked by black people mainly. Some Asians even.
You also remember there was that, I can't remember what it was. It was that random people, like, I think it was more America, but it definitely happened here as well. But obviously in our country, we kind of copy what's going on in our country, whatever race it is, kind of thing. But there was black YouTubers or TikTokers or whatever that literally go up even to white fragile women. And they make them take the knee and then say it. I can't remember the word for word. I'm sure there was some kind of specific word they have to say, and black people would make like just random white people, especially like women and children as well. Like, and it would affect the white women. Like, and they would do. It was a little trend going on, weren't there, when they would all take the knee?
Yeah, get them to kiss the shoes and. Things like this in different European countries, and you could see it. This footage was being leaked, and women. You're right. Girls, women, boys, men, women, just people that were of a softer mind when they were older, but obviously more vulnerable when they're younger. People being brainwashed by it, brainwashed by the media, brainwashed by that whole echo chamber around them. All of a sudden, getting this white guilt. And that was becoming the two big words was white guilt.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it and I'm angry. And then I'm seeing violence towards whites. The violence towards whites has been of an unprecedented amount, I think. In the past few years, it's been on steroids. Physical violence, verbal violence. And I call it violence because it's a violation, because a lot of things have been said towards our people. This includes our families. We have families. We've grown up here, and the thing is, it sets a dangerous precedent, because words can really influence people. Emotions influence people. They act on these things, and you could clearly see that. With the so-called protests, and the propaganda machine knows what it's doing. and there's a lot of minds out there that can be manipulated, and they can do things with that manipulation, or carry out those kind of instructions, so to speak, because it's instructional. The whole thing has been instructional. It's been a war on whites, and there's been a war on culture, our own homelands, within our own homelands.
Yeah.
Been attacked within our own homelands.
Just to touch up on something, but I do think it's a part of the same bracket, Darren. I spoke to a young girl, a 21-year-old, a couple of weeks ago now, yeah, and we was talking about some issues. I wouldn't say she was completely unsorted. I mean, she quite agree with a few things, but one of the things she said to me, she said, back when I was at school, a lot of my friends, I had quite a good circle, but a lot of them were either gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans, and we even had one which that ended up turning into a cat, identifying as a cat, which then we fell out because he was coming into school behaving like a cat. And I'm thinking back to our days back in school. You go back further than me. I think, and it's not about bullying them for what they are, but this is all down to the educational system. Do you know what I mean? I don't remember one single person that identified as gay, trans, lesbian. I still don't even know anyone that's from my school that turned out to be one of those things. Yet this one girl seems to have a circle of friends that's gone gay, trans, bisexual, and even a cat. I mean, that's what do you say to things like that? And she's 21 now. So what's happened in the 5 years since she's left as well? What's your thoughts on
that? My thoughts on that. I mean, it's getting your head around it, isn't it? I don't know. I just come from a more common sense background. Even when I was a teenager, that wouldn't have existed, would it? I mean, identifying as an animal.
Back in the 1920s, Darren?
Yeah, well, a bit further back than that, mate.
There's no ageism allowed on this show. There's no ageism. Sorry, Darren. Sorry. Go on, mate. Go on.
That's right. But, I mean, yeah, I have no words. It's manipulated minds, easy to manipulate minds. Open minds, easily manipulated.
Yeah.
Upbringing, maybe parents not there, teaching them the right from wrong, not me giving them some support when they're growing up, or something missing.
Could also be a parent or issue. But also you have to
something missing.
Or if you haven't got the money to put them in a more educated situation, I want to have children. I don't have any children. I don't know what your situation is like. But I don't know how I'm going to react to it if I do have children. Touch what I do, but if my children are being taught this, I'm kicking off with no violence. Of course, I'm not a violent person, but and I get that parents can do more, but some parents, they need all the help they can get. Some parents have to work 3-4 jobs to provide for that child, so they have to leave them within the hands of the state more time than themselves. So ultimately, you also have to look at the fact that this is the educational system being put on children.
Yeah, it is. It's the whole, I think we call it the Marxist educational system now. It's been there for years, hasn't it, really? It's infiltrated.
Of course.
It's designed to turn everybody into mind control slaves, basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you're identifying as something other than yourself, and it's being encouraged, then we're definitely in trouble. Yeah. Children are definitely in trouble. You are what you are, and if you can't be in touch with that, there's something missing. There's got to be something missing. There's got to be something missing in the home. I mean, I think also there's the internet itself. I think the internet must play a part.
True.
social media. I mean, we've got so much. We're exposed to so many things now online, aren't we? And young minds are going to be.
That's true.
They're bombarded, aren't they? They're bombarded.
Yeah, I mean, on the conversation of pornography, it should be banned. I mean, back when I was at school, you get in a 20-second clip. Oh, have you seen this? Like 20-second clip. Back when you're at school, you'd probably be looking at the top shelves and getting one down if you're lucky. If the shopkeeper turns a blind eye, man.
I mean, look, obviously, it's been around for a while, hasn't it? I mean,
of course, yeah.
Pornography. It just, it was harder, obviously, to get hold of. Now, obviously, well, we know you could just get it at a push of a button at any age. It's not even censored, is it? I mean, it's not, anybody can get access to it. And you can get access to anything. This is the thing. Now we're in a push button world, a digital world where within milliseconds you can get something on your screen with sound, etc., that is immediately going into your eyes, it's going into your head, and your ears, and it's influencing here.
It's also true.
Kind of influence.
I also think like the very poor sentences people get for committing these kind of crimes on like children. I think it's that's what pushes people to commit those crimes, because of the lack of sentences. In fact, I think the system is so rigged at the moment under the current system, and hopefully we can change it. And nationalrebirthparty.org.uk, by the way, we will change it. We will change it, bitches. However, but under the current system, like advocating for our people can get, so quite heavy sentences in retrospect to someone committing a crime on a child, and like this needs to change.
Yeah, definitely needs to change. I mean, judicial.
Yeah.
I can barely say that word. I don't know what it is. I get tongue twisted with that. System. Again, it was infiltrated many years ago. It's been turned on its head. There's Freemasonry involved. From the top down, there's corruption. We know this, and there's so much tied up in legalese or legalities. It's designed to be complex. And I mean, you see these ridiculous sentences when you see, when somebody just come into the country who rapes a native woman, and they can't even be deported because of the human rights brigade already there. On getting paid by the taxpayer, ironically, to stop them from being deported. And then even if they do get a sentence, it isn't even the minimum you'd expect for that kind of crime anyway. It isn't even the minimum, and they'll be out within no time at all. And then you see people advocating, normal everyday men and women advocating for our native rights as whites in our homeland, and speaking out against the system, and they're getting thrown in front of a judge and put in prison, and
it's bad.
They're getting fined and doxxed, and they're getting all sorts happening to them.
Yeah, great. Okay, so Darren, we'll push on to something more positive talking. We don't want to keep depressing our audience. But first of all, let's talk about your move to up north. It's a bit of a length for the country. You even have to bypass the mighty Birmingham to get up to where you are now. Tell us.
Yeah, the mighty Brums.
Yeah, the mighty Birmingham, definitely one of the best cities in the world, shall we say? But tell us, why did you? Tell us a story in your own words, obviously, why you've opted to move up north.
Well, I moved up here because it's peace and quiet in London, and
you got a bit far, right? Yeah, like probably like 5-6 hours up the road just for a bit of peace and quiet. How bad the country's got to now.
Well, do you know what? I happened to come up here because I was here back in 2021. I had an apartment in a place called Sacriston, which is more inward bound. Where I am is more towards the coast, but if you go deeper in to just past Durham itself, the city, just outside the city, a little place there, village called Sacriston, and I had an apartment there. and it was through some army contacts because I was in the military.
You was in the military?
Yeah.
Did you know Alec through the military at all? Or?
No. I mean, I know Alec was in the military himself. I know he was in the Rifles. I was in infantry as well. But no, I mean, I know Alec via Kate.
We'll stick to that subject a minute. How do you know Kate then?
I know Kate because I answered a call to join an alliance group called WIRA.
WIRA, yeah.
My Indigenous Rights.
Great girl. Powerful.
Very strong woman. A great woman for our cause. A true English woman.
Yeah.
In all in all respects, she's just everything English you can think of.
And you definitely won't want to cross her. You definitely do not want to cross that girl.
No, of course not. No. I mean, she will. She's ruthless. Is Kate?
She's ruthless. She's fantastic.
She's firm. She's firm but fair. Is Kate? You know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Her debates. We need more of it. She does a lot. You know, I don't want to put too much pressure on her, but some of those clips, mate, I got my own TikTok channel. I've done 2 of her videos, and mate, and I'm like, oh my, we need more of these. They go far. They really go far. I respect the position she just had a baby. Congratulations and whatnot. Yeah, superb woman, and we need another few million of Kate on the streets as well for the ladies. Good on her. But yeah, carry on. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, it's fine. So I ended up there via army contacts. I wanted somewhere else to live, and rather than bother, because I was renting in London, and rather than sort of go through renting more in London because of the prices as well and everything else, and because of the way London was changing, London, to be honest, it was getting worse there, especially after the past few years. Everything's degraded a bit there as well, and you notice it, and the air's changed, everything about the place has changed anyway. And so I contacted some people and said, we've got a place here and go here. And so I went there and I sat there and it's beautiful. It was lovely and it was a lovely getaway. And it was a different way of life, but it was so welcoming. I was in a place and I was surrounded just by country, and there was a farm nearby, and I used to walk to the farm and I used to buy my food there. And I met some local people, and it was just a different way of life. I kept in touch with some people down south anyway. But I went back down to see my mother because I've had a close relationship with her since we were children anyway. And decided it was time to actually move up here permanently. And I put plans in place for that. It didn't take very long. And then I ended up here in my own place now. And I've been here ever since. And I live in a based area. You know, it's homogenous. Literally, I'm at over 90% white.
Well, where you are now is 90%.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, there is some.
Mine is 90%.1. So I beat you, Darren.
Yours is what, mate?
My area is 90%.1. So you know, you chose the wrong place. You went north. You went past my area, Darren. What are you doing?
Yeah, I know, mate. I know. I thought I was going to drop into Brum, but then I thought, hang on a minute.
I'm not actually Birmingham now. I'm near Great Yarmouth sort of thing. I'm outside.
Yeah, you're Norfolk, aren't you? Know?
Yeah, I'm Norfolk now. I'm a Brummie at heart, but I had to abandon.
Brummie at heart, that's right. But you're Norfolk now.
I'm Norfolk now. I mean, I don't sound like a farmer yet. No offense to any Norfolk people coming. Please do come to the Norfolk meets. I'm only joking.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Great Yarmouth's going a little bit down a little bit, but yeah, just on the outskirts. Beautiful English village, shall we say? But sorry to interrupt. I can't miss out on a joke now and then, so my apologies.
That's okay, my friend. You're forgiven. You're forgiven on this occasion. You're forgiven. It's your show.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you. No, so much.
You're welcome, my friend.
Continue, bro. Continue.
The Norfolk is a nice area, isn't it? I mean, I've known some chaps from there in the past.
Please do come down sometime, and I will come up that way as well.
Well, I intend to. I mean, I intend to come see all the different areas and all our guys now. You know, we've got a great a great team getting together. So it's really good. And I was going to get back to Brum. I was going to say Brum. I like to call London Light now. That's my name for it. London Light. LITE, Light. London Light. You know,
Yeah,
it's
pretty much.
Yeah, it's London on a bit of a diet. It's just not as many people, but it's the same kind of life.
It is, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I couldn't go back. I'd go back. I like going back to see family, friends, and for because it's quite central to the country. It's quite an ideal location to meet people. Actually, but living there on a daily basis, I'm not sure about that again.
I had a good friend from there who was in the army as well. Anyway, that I lost touch with him a while ago, but he was a great guy. I know a few more people from Birmingham and surrounding areas. Yeah, it's crazy how it's all changed, though, isn't it? It's crazy how it's become now. What it's become.
Yeah, proper.
A lot of people complain about those areas now.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
It is a shame. It is a shame.
It's lost cities, but this is what we're trying to get in the National Rebirth Party, a registered party. So I think for the last 20 or so minutes, Darren, let's talk about the National Rebirth Party.
Yeah.
First of all, why? What in your own words? Why this party? There are other registered parties, and we're not here to belittle any other parties. Refrain from that. Give respect to everyone else for what they're doing. But why National Rebirth Party, in your words?
Oh, it's pretty simple for me. It was a no-brainer. Obviously, I know Kate Mulwira, and I know Alec. I've known Alec for the last couple of years at least. And there was word that the party was starting. It wasn't so long back, and it was being registered. And I saw it in a Telegram chat, and straight away I contacted Alec personally anyway, and I said, "Count me in," because I want to help turn this country around. It's corrupt. It's being dragged down further than ever now. We're in trouble, and I want to be part of something that's going to make the biggest difference for our nation and our people. And because I trust Alex and I trust Kate, and I know that we're talking about individuals here that are genuine and really care about the future and care about the state of things. I knew who to initially get involved with, because I know about other parties, and know there's always these allegations, so to speak, that they're controlled opposition and the rest of it, or they're just an extension of this party, this mainstream party, and they're not really going to do much else. And I've seen, even with other smaller parties that are meant to have the national agenda in sight, I've never been totally convinced. And then I come across Alex Party registering. He has it registered within a record amount of time, in my opinion. And obviously, because I trust him personally, and I trust Kate, and I know it's about homogeneity, I know it's about ethno-nationalism, I know it's about our people first. I know for sure when I'm getting involved with them both, when I'm getting involved with Alex especially, I know exactly what he wants, his vision, and he's allowed us to become part of that vision. And immediately, I'm hitting him up, so to speak, and I'm saying, what role can I take? I saw some ads actually on his Telegram channel about branch leaders needed, and I'm straight there.
Yeah, so I mean that's another good question to ask, because getting involved is one thing, Darren. Do you know what I mean? Like supporting, whatever we're going to do, like activism-wise, leaving the scene, attending a meet. There's loads you can do, obviously, but you've opted to be branch leader. Like, why have you thought, okay, you know what? I'm the best man for my area. Like, why?
Well, in the area I'm in, I've noticed this. I don't see anybody doing anything towards nationalism in my area. I've been out and about. I've already got to know people.
Yeah.
Well, I am is a lot quieter. Obviously, even London, it's a lot quieter, which I'm grateful for. It's very laid back compared to London. But I've noticed other things. I've noticed where I am. Obviously used to be mining industry here, and all that's gone. And some of it is not so it's lost a lot of its spark. And I talk to people, and a lot of its spark has gone from the area. Record rates of unemployment, etc., and crime that do occur when they occur. Maybe the surrounding cities more than my area in particular, but still, it's a northeast area which I've been appointed to lead my branch in. So these are all of concern to me anyway, and it's good that I know, because these are issues we need to tackle. We need to tackle every issue we can think of. We need to, improve the area that we're in, and then gradually go out nationwide and improve every area until we're covering our nation. But yeah, I just thought, well, I can represent here because nobody else seems to be doing anything. I've noticed that there's a little bit of immigration starting to sneak in as I've been out and about, and other people have started to pick up on it, and it started to happen already. And I'm thinking, yeah, I think what they're bringing people from major cities maybe in the country, and they're starting to spread them out around the country a little bit maybe. Now, I know that there's this particular part of North East I'm in now. If you go by the agenda of diluting our nation, diluting our race, so to speak, in the country, this is one area where you can tell that it's going to be, they're going to try and do this. They've already done it in surrounding cities like Middlesbrough, for instance.
Of course, yeah.
I know some people in Middlesbrough say it's completely changed. They've ruined it with immigration, and they're very upset. And I've got a feeling that they're going to try it in these areas too. I've already seen it creeping in. It's noticing, as it's called in the movement, is it noticing things? Some people will still have their eyes closed and their head in the sand, and they need to be woken up before things creep in and then grow, because that's what's happened in the major cities.
Of course.
Crept in and grew.
So what is your plan behind this? What is your plan as a branch leader going forward?
Well, plan as a branch leader. Well, my plan is, I know that there's concerned people in surrounding areas to where I am now. It's a big area to cover, and I want to be
as you grow, you obviously get, like, we're at our TV stage, shall we say, at the moment. So as you grow, you get more help.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my vision is obviously to be the catalyst for their voice. I know that underneath there's people that are concerned about issues, especially as English people. They know that the state, there's underlying, you can tell that they know that the state somehow is against them. You can feel something in the air sometimes. And I want to be able to take the people around me and show them that there's a way, especially those surrounding areas like Middlesbrough, etc. And I want to show them there's a way out, but they need somebody to speak for them. They need somebody to represent them. There hasn't been, in this country for years, there hasn't been any proper representation of the native indigenous people nation in any way, shape or form. Obviously we've had the BNP, etc. But what we're looking at is having something that really will be a contender for governing this nation and giving it back to the people of this nation. And you can only start that in your own area.
Will you be looking to stand as a candidate in the future then for the organisation? Or
yeah, I'm interested in doing that. Yeah, I've already been thinking about that. I've already spoke to Alec about that. Yeah.
So what? Okay, so we'll for the purpose of this conversation, we'll say, okay, sell me the dream, Darren. How do we solve the situation that we're in? Have you got any ideas off the bat? And obviously it's early days. You might, obviously you're quite new into it, so I don't mean to put you on the spot too much. But how do we solve the situation?
I think you've been on the spot, I think, a bit more in the future, mate. Anyway,
exactly.
So might as well be on the spot.
I'm on your own, bro. You're gonna
might as well be on the spot now. Might as well get it over and done with. What do I see? Well, it's as Alex says, and this is why I also joined the party, because I read the 20 demands in our manifesto. I read that first. I mean, you need to read that first before you agree to join the party. It's no good joining the party if you don't agree with any of the demands.
Yeah.
So I read those. But yeah, this makes complete sense to me. It speaks to me as a native indigenous white man of this country whose ancestors built this country.
To push the 20 demands. I mean,
Yeah.
at a later date, Darren, I will be a devil's advocate for this party. I still love yous. I still love the National Rebirth Party, but maybe see it as a bit of training. I will push some devil advocate questions towards yourself, you know, Alec, all of you. Do you know what I mean? As part of the series, I think it's a nice introduction to get you in and like bed you in and let people get to know a bit about yourselves. But also, before the BBC come crashing down on your door and knocking the door and asking you the tough questions, I will try and get other people to ask questions about those 20 demands and a bit of yourself to try and put you a little bit more on the spot in the future. Would you be up for that?
Totally, mate. Why not?
Okay.
Why not? We're gonna have to get used to being on the spot anyway.
Exactly. So I think it's good to have a training exercise and maybe even go live so people can ask their questions. I think that would be a good idea going forward. Obviously, you know, you have my full backing. I'm not going to do that on show one. As much as I might disappoint some people, I'm sure there's some enemies watching this podcast thinking, why are you not answering this, Chris? Wait, you'll get your chance. Wait for episode 2, part 2 of this with this guy and others. But yeah, is there any events being planned in the northeastern region currently being made right now?
Can I go back to what you said about the vision, though, Chris, just a minute ago?
Sorry,
I was going to get out for you.
Yours. I apologise for moving on a bit too.
That's all right. That's all right. I was going to quickly get out for you. Vision is it's a major party that's going to challenge Westminster and get this country turned around. And the people need an actual party that represents them, and a major contender and a radical party at that aren't afraid to pull the punches needed, aren't afraid to step on eggshells, aren't afraid to upset some people on the way to get to where we need to get to. Everybody needs a voice, and we're here to represent that voice. Everybody has a vision, connected vision, and we're here to help people with that vision. We know what the people want. We know what people want. They want their country back. They want their rights back. They're fed up of feeling like second-class citizens in their own country. And we're here to change that. And there needs to be a real contender in those corridors of Westminster. A real contender this time. And the sooner we get there, the better. And that is our intention. And that is what I wanted to bring back up for you there, mate.
No, it's all right, mate. Well said. Superb. A little, super little speech. Actually, you know, we'll clip that. We'll get that on TikTok, won't we? We'll clip that. Bob, the producer over there. We'll get that clips. That's going on TikTok. We're making Darren go viral. In fact, while we're there, if you somehow do go viral, I don't know how much experience you've got in all this. Do you have any fear of the current system may come down hard on you, boot your door in, arrest you over trumped up charges? I think this is a valid question. Does this have any impact on what you're going to do for your leadership in your respected area?
Well, I mean, for a start, we're a legit registered party, so we're not breaking any laws. We're not breaking any rules. That's for starters, you know. And we have every right, just like anybody else, just like all the sort of the left parties, so to speak, the socialist parties, whatever you want to call them. There's so many.
Yeah.
We have as much right as them to speak. We have as much right as them to show our face. We have as much right as them to talk about what we want to talk about. We do have freedom of expression still in this country, you know. So if there's any fear, then what I would be fearing is a complete lie, isn't it? If there's anything to fear, it's corruption.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I didn't mean it as such like that, because it would be corruption if so. So that's what I was trying to address. There has been a lot of corruption in our nation with various amount of people, including myself. Do you know what I mean? I've gone through it, so I was just seeing if there's, you know, if you've got any of that fear in store, thinking, are they going to come up with something trumped up to shut my mouth as such? If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying, and I know this frightens some other activists because obviously you get them covering up the faces and having to hide all the time, and it's a sad world when you have to do that in your own country.
Yeah, agreed. I don't blame them. I will say I don't blame some of them, and they've got the jobs to think of and
Exactly.
families and whatever. So I do understand, but also,
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
like,
it's a sad world that they have to do that because the system is against them.
exactly. So I'm hoping we can do all we can to make sure that they don't have to fear what they have to say at work or at home in the comfort of their own home or to their friends in case of being recorded. So I understand the fear behind them, and hopefully National Rebirth Party can help towards that to eliminate that fear.
100%.
Okay, so the question I asked earlier, Darren, any plans being introduced into your area at the moment? Obviously, early days. Is there any formal meetings? Yeah, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm planning on staging my own event very shortly. Just waiting on the go-ahead for that, and the arrangements have been made for that. In my local village, obviously, like I say, my village is an ex-miners village, so to speak, and so there's clubs all over the place that people have been going to for years, generations of their families. So I contact them and I make sure that somebody is willing to host an event where we can come up for a local area meet up and discuss what we need to do in future. So that's planned already, and I'm organising that with Alec and other members of the party to keep them informed. And then the idea of that is to grow our numbers. I have my nationalist page on Facebook, and I have members there, and I'm hoping to engage more of those as well. But we need to spread the news, getting out there in the local community, getting people together is one way of doing it. And then I'm going to be obviously attending other events from the other branch leaders, ones I can get to, and obviously I'm also focusing on my Wirra activities as well alongside that.
Cool. So we'll just touch up on that a minute before we go to some final words and anything you want to say. Yeah, there might be someone watching. It's like, I want to get hold of this guy. Like, I don't really want to go through Chris or I want to go through Alec. But I like this guy. Where can people? Oh no, please do not think that of me and Alec. We're great guys, but honestly, we're great guys. But if they do just want to speak to you, if they want to get a hold of you in any way, even if they like us both, where can they get hold of you, bro? Like, name all platforms: Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, everything.
The best place to get hold of me at the moment would be, I'm waiting on some more details from Alec for our own emails. The best place at the moment would be to go to my Facebook group, which is North East Nationalists.
North East Nationalists. There you go.
That's where I'm starting my efforts. For the North East Nationalists, there's people there from outside the North East as well. The group has only been going for at least the past couple of months now. It's growing, and you can easily go to Facebook. You can find me on there. It's North East Nationalists. Alec regularly posts on the page as well, and he'll always post party details on there, contact details for the party itself. And if you go on that page, you can message me privately. So it's completely fine. So it's North East Nationalists on Facebook.
On Facebook. But there is a snag. I guess my main probably platform is Telegram. Is there any what do you say to the Telegram users on how to get hold of you if they're not on Facebook? Or go on.
The Telegram, I can set up a Telegram channel. It's not a problem. I'm completely okay with doing that. I can set up a Telegram channel of my own. What I say to Telegram channel users is, if they're not using Facebook, I mean, that's the only platform I'm using at the moment is Facebook, because I'm finding it the easiest platform to use at this current time. Because the other groups that I'm involved in, Alec's pretty much in control of those for the party anyway. But I am looking at getting my own private details, which I'll be sharing in the near future. North East Nationalists is the way to go. on Facebook. I would suggest definitely getting on Facebook.
I mean, my advice to you, Darren, to get the Telegram page. I mean, obviously you can contact National Rebirth Party anyway by t.me/National Rebirth Party, and also you can email at inquiries@nationalrebirthparty.org.uk. But as I've been heavily involved in this for years, I'm not trying to undermine you or this Facebook group. If this organisation when the organisation does grow into something more, I do think the likes of Facebook, Twitter, well, not so much Twitter nowadays, maybe, but definitely Facebook will target and shut you down. So I do think you should, in my advice, it's up to you if you take it on board, to look into that and maybe get a platform set up on like a Telegram where it's a little bit more free speech. For me, it's inevitable. You will get shut down the more we grow. So I would look at that in the near future.
Yeah, definitely looking at that.
And trying to get don't get me wrong, get people over to the Facebook and whatever, but also try and direct the Facebook users over to Telegram as well, because one day you might have 3,000 subscribers on that Facebook and it'll be taken away from you and you can't do that. So
fully aware. I'm totally fully aware of that. Obviously in the teething stages at the moment, so we'll be branching out in the social media channels.
Exactly. I just think help on all channels, but Telegram is the channel where it's very likely, unlikely you'll be censored or banned. So I do think you should try and move a hub over there if you've got members following. Not that I'm trying to dictate to you, Darren. That's my advice. From experience.
I will be making my way. I'll definitely be planning to make my way over there anyway, and so because I'm already on there anyway.
Exactly, and you're already on there as well, as we've been speaking. All right, Darren. Right, we're going to go to your final words. I want anything you want to say. No questions from me. The dance floor is completely yours. If there's anything I have not asked and you want to get off your chest, anything you want to promote, anything you want to say at all, as I said, the dance floor is all yours, bro. Push whatever you want, say whatever you want, and we'll say our goodbyes. But it's been a great show, and I thank you so much for taking the hour out of your time and live to speak to me tonight. So thank you. Over to you, bro.
But I just want everybody, whoever sees this, I just want them to know that we're definitely there for them. We're definitely going to be the party of the future, and we definitely mean what we say. I think there's been a lot of fear in this country for many years now, and I think people are very scared now, more than ever. And I just want people to know that are watching this, that if they have faith that there is somebody that's come along and that can lead them away and help them out of their current situation, somebody that actually wants to believe in, somebody that can believe in, it's going to be us, National Rebirth Party. And I just want people to know that anybody that's viewing, it's important that they know this. Important that they know we're not just some fly-by-night here today, gone tomorrow organisation, because we're here to stay, and we have great aspirations for the future, and we need you guys to come on board with us. We need you to come with us, because we want you to believe in us, because I wanted somebody to believe in, so that's why I joined the party. So I joined the party. I wanted them to believe in. I've not been able to believe in anybody, so I decided to do this work myself. And so I just implore anybody that's really serious about wanting their country to change and what's best for the future family, the current family even, but the future family and generations of family, to come on board with us, to follow any podcasts, or follow any future social media interviews of any nature, and to come on board with us and stick with us. And we promise that we're going to be the party for the future, and we mean what we say, and we're going to help turn this country around. And you have our word on that.
Thank you very much, Darren. I hope everyone enjoyed the podcast as well. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to Darren. Top guy. Please get in touch with them. In case you missed it, I'm going to shut it once more time. If you're on Telegram, please follow us at t.me/National Rebirth Party. You can also find it on Facebook. I think it's also on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter, but you can search it. I'm sure it is. You can visit the website at nationalrebirthparty.org.uk. If you also want to email the party, you can at inquiries@nationalrebirthparty.org.uk. Let's give a big round of applause for Darren. Superb first episode. Thank you very much. Any final words from you, sir?
No, I think we've covered it, Chris. You've been a great host, by the way,
you.
Chris. It's been really fun being on here today.
Thank you very much. We'll do another episode in the future. I'll try and grill him a little bit more next time. We'll get him. But I'm sure he'll come out on top because he's the National Rebirth Party regional organizer of the Northeast, shall we say. So if you are from the Northeast, obviously he's got his own area. Where is it again?
I'm in Easington.
Easington.
Basically the Northeast branch manager.
Yeah, so basically, if you're in the Northeast, or if you're close by and you want to go and meet Darren and like-minded people, please do get in touch. It's been a wonderful show. Again, guys, please sign up. Let's go for it, man. Let's put our country first. Peace out.
Thanks.